I'm Morey White.
I'm Jake Schriner.
I'm Tracey White.
And I'm Associate Pastor Bob Nelson. Welcome to the Compass Conversation Podcast. And really, Johnny did say that last week.
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
Okay, thumbnail over. All right.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Wait. We're starting off great.
Morning somewhere.
Did I miss something?
That way I don't have to, I always say that because I don't have to remember, what time it actually is. So, and it always
of the morning.
gets that kind of response. It works out perfectly.
It's top of the morning.
Thank you.
Top of the morning to you.
So how's top of the Morey doing?
Oh, that was bad. By the way, this is the Compass Conversation.
Rude.
Welcome.
Welcome.
And much deserved.
It was a Monday. This weekend we got to help out a buddy do some tile. His wife is ill, so he needed a little help. So we took care of that. And I also got to meet with a bunch of Raptor people. Ford Raptor, that is. We're not sponsored by Ford.
But if you'd like to, please email me at compassdenver.com.
I thought you were talking about
Well, there's actually a T-shirt that says "Clever Girl" that I want to get for June. So
That'd be awesome.
I think that'd be real for when we do our runs.
Yeah.
We probably break the speed limit a little bit on those days. It's probably not the right thing to do. All right. Wait, there's no posted speed limit on those
I was
roads.
gonna say you're off on a trail, right?
They're on trails.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't say anything, 80 is acceptable.
It's like those other signs that are always on fence posts that you see everywhere. Posted? No. Trespassing allowed.
Yes.
Right?
That's right. It's not posted. So, long day. Had a little headache, but I took a short nap, which was kind of good. And that's it. Next.
Yeah.
How you doing, Jake?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah. Short work week this week, just work today, working tomorrow, and then I am off to St. Louis to see the family for a nice little intermediate holiday visit.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be really good. We're gonna go to the Children's Museum out there, and gonna go drive through like a light show at the. Well, it's actually not a drive-through light show. So it's at the St. Louis Botanic Gardens.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a walk-around show. That's supposed to be really, really cool. So we're gonna take Harper to that, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then have plenty of pictures. Oh yeah. And then we'll have a nice nice holiday meal on Friday evening. We're back on Saturday, so fairly short trip. But it'll be. I think it'll be a really nice visit, and we got Melissa helping us out with the dogs, which
Thanks.
she helps you guys
Yeah.
enjoy as well, right? Yeah.
She's helped us out too.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. So so she came by yesterday evening to just give her the rundown of the whole deal and whatnot. And the dogs are. They're really friendly anyway, but they're a little crazy, and it didn't faze her at all. So thank goodness for that.
She's such a dog lover. So.
That's good.
She rocks when it comes to that. She
Awesome.
really does.
Right on. Cool. So so that's going to be awesome. My only hesitation with the whole thing is knowing that even though I am not going to be in the office for 3 days this week, I will be fielding phone calls, I'm sure. Even when I ask for no phone calls. I'm going to spend like half my day tomorrow getting everybody all set. Here's the schedule, what we're delivering, what we need to get done. Here's how we're going to do things. Got my new engineer. He's doing a great job so far. He's been on for about 4 or 5 months now, and so we're going to give him a key to the front door and have him open up, so he'll carry a little more responsibility while I'm gone. So it should be going. That should be pretty good. I'm not too worried about that. And then, I told him I just want a report card on everybody while he's. While he's running, see what happens. Yeah.
Make sure you snitch a little.
Yeah. That's what I'm like. Hey, you're gonna be running the place. Just make sure you tell me how things go, because and I'll have a talk with the whole yard tomorrow too. Like, hey, here's my expectation, and we'll see if they follow through.
Gotcha. But yeah, I do remember that the boss reaching out to you, 15 times for his one phone
Of course, yeah. On my 1 week of vacation a couple months ago, I told him he gets one phone call, and I got a call at 11 a.m. on Monday. So it's like, you're wasting your phone call. No, this doesn't count. Yeah. So, but other than that, yeah, things are fairly good at home, and we're just looking forward to relaxing for a few days. So, yeah, cool. How are you, Tracy?
I'm exhausted, but happy to be here on the Compass Conversation podcast. So,
Just a sense that would not be this down.
it was a drill weekend, and it was emotionally draining because there was a roller coaster. Some hard things that had to be dealt with, and then we had a great time with our annual Christmas party, chili cook-off thing, and that was really great. There was so much good chili and desserts. So stuffed myself on Saturday, and then I was exposed to COVID. So I hope you guys are okay after this.
I'm still waiting for the third arm from my, COVID
From your
booster.
shots.
So yeah,
I was going to get a booster, but I didn't want to feel horrible today. Maybe next month. I don't know. So,
I getcha.
Bob.
Okay, so first, Johnny's not here. He is just tired. Yeah, can you believe that? Where is he?
I think he's
So, yeah, he's really tired. Leona's mom took another bad turn over the last week, so she's over there in Tennessee, and he just had a ton of stuff going on through the weekend and just, needed a break, so we missed you, Johnny, definitely. But I did say it, really I did.
We miss you here on the Compass Conversation podcast.
But
Wants a report card too.
I definitely need to be in prayer for that family.
Yep.
Just a tough time. And but personally, I'm doing actually really good. I had the booster yesterday, and my arm's a little bit sore now. It was really sore most of the day. But I had and it could have easily been work related, a little bit of a headache and a little achy stuff, going on for most of the day, and then it was gone by knockoff time. So that's why I'm thinking it was mostly work related.
Yeah.
But I did the mix up. I'm going with the cocktail version, so I got the Pfizer, and now I got the Moderna booster. So I should be COVID proof.
All right.
So
except the Transformer.
That's true. Yeah.
It is. We don't need to make fun, but it is the coolest name.
Right?
Omicron. Which I heard, no matter how you're saying it, you're probably saying it wrong. So I did not read the article to find out how you should be saying it.
Omicron?
Or Omicron, or...
It's Omicron.
Omicron.
Omicron. Aluminium.
Aluminium. That's how you pronounce it.
Omicrimium.
So that said, it was an easy day at work, which made it also nice. That was kind of cool. And so here we are. Glad you guys are here.
Yeah.
And then, so what are we talking about?
You should talk about yesterday, which I wasn't there, nor did I get to see the awesome
disaster
replay.
happening.
Yeah. So
It's a
I'm
bit
not
of a
really sure
fiasco
what was
at one point.
Yeah.
We had some issues.
That's okay.
Technical issues.
Yeah, the problem with new computers and existing systems, we don't have them set up quite right, but we'll get it there. So I think it's still, it was driving me nuts. I'm still bothered by it. It was.
But we will be testing.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Testing.
That's the weird thing is we tested it.
Yeah.
The very first Sunday, and it worked just fine for Big Sunday, and to have it not work the Sunday after that, it's a little weird, but we'll figure it out. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it could, it could simply have been an update in the software, or it could have been a million things. Just,
the whole ID10T problem. Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot about the ID10T.
We talked about that a minute ago, and I thought maybe we should share. There was ID10T.
So if you spell it out, you really get it quickly.
Write it down.
You'll understand.
BioWare issue, that was one.
Right.
Like yours.
What was yours?
The PEBCAC, problem exists between computer and chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And headset separator.
Headset separator.
Gotta fix the headset separator.
That's good.
So It's the reason why I'm not a tech guy.
Or radio normally does not work in the official position.
But it is a good argument for why people should show up in person on Sundays, because then they get the message and they get to see everything in person, and they don't have to worry about the live stream.
That's exactly what I posted on the on the second try after it crashed on us, and it's like, watch for the rebroadcast, because we were able to record it on this little puppy, so that was handy. But yeah, I put on there. This is a good and gentle reminder on why we should meet in person. It's hard to have those failures there.
Yeah,
so. Absolutely.
I like this little guy. From this camera, you can see this, which sees this, which
sees this.
It's like one of those mirror hallway things.
Yes, exactly.
Forever.
Oh, fun.
So I want to know, y'all, because I wasn't there. So fill me in. What did Johnny speak about?
So unlike last week, his message had a point. It was
One point. He only got to one of the 6.
Which is fine.
because we had those technical problems. It just one of the 6. But the message was on First Peter. I'm thinking it's Peter and John. It's Acts chapter 3.
Chapter 3.
Yeah,
Chapter 3.
Started at chapter 3. About 13 verses in, where Peter and John are walking. They're going to a prayer at the temple, and there's a gentleman that's sitting there at the gate called Beautiful, which I've always loved that line. It's that he's been placed at the gate called Beautiful, and a beautiful thing happens there. He's been there for years. He begs. It's very typical. He has people that actually bring him there.
Lame from birth.
Lame for birth, yes, which is a really important thing when you think about the whole story and what happens next. And he asks Peter and John for money, and they go, and Peter has this great line: "I don't have any money." I'm paraphrasing. "What I do have, I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ, get up and walk." And not only did he get up and walk, he started running,
jumping,
so.
And he grabs him by the hand too. That was an important connection between in Mark with the blind man that he leads in the city, and grabs him by the hand, and then Peter grabs the lame individual by his hand, and he's able to get up and walk.
I find it really interesting. Peter, they're Jews.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, this was at the beginning of the first church, the creation of the church. So they still are doing their Jewish practices.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an important point. It's like, why are they going to the temple? They're Christians.
Well, why wouldn't they?
Because they are Christians, but they were Jews.
Right.
Also. And so there were still the things that they still did.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting.
From a historical standpoint, later in Acts, you get the Sanhedrin getting together and talking about this sect, because even they thought they were Jews just gone bad. So so I remember those shows when animals go wild. It was when Jews go wild. Not really. But once everything was connected, they just thought it was a sect, and originally the Romans left them alone for a long time because of that. It's like, this is a Jewish problem, not us. Right. It wasn't until the entire point where they go from Caesar is king, Caesar is Lord to Jesus is Lord. Yeah. That's when they run into serious problems and start upsetting the state and the state of things. Right. So they were just doing their Jewish thing, everything they did, but they knew what Judaism meant at that point.
Absolutely.
And, what Jesus meant through the Old Testament. And you see that back in Acts 2 with Peter's sermon. So, but huge point, though.
Well, I mean, as Jews, they were always following the law, right? That was kind of one of the big things. And even Jesus said, I didn't come here to, get rid of the law. I came, I'm here to fulfill it, right? So, so I can understand if they're still doing their Jewish thing, whatever traditions and whatnot. I mean, we have ours in church. I don't know, the songs we sing, or maybe the order that you do things in, or when Morey and I were growing up in a little bit bigger churches, we did the Lord's Supper. There was a very set rhythm to the way we did things, churchy things.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to, make light of that, because it's not necessarily doctrine, but some of those traditions I think are really helpful. We have tradition in our daily lives that help us remember to do things. Like, it's tradition for me to go brush my teeth after. I'm not gonna, if I miss it, I'm not gonna not go to heaven. So.
Actually, I mean, that's
I hope.
that's a really good point. When we take tradition and elevate it to the point of something that saves us.
And that happens a lot.
It does. And that happens in every religion, right? And I think whenever in the public eye, whenever Christians get a bad name, it's usually based in that sort of thing,
It is, and a lot of it's based on tradition. I know that, for example, Tracy and I grew up where we did not have instrumental music in church. We had 4-part harmony, which was wonderful, very beautiful sounding. But Tracy and I, we really wanted to play Christian rock. That was something that we really wanted to do. But the tradition was you can't do Christian music to instruments in that church at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
to the point where it was
had
kind of
become doctrine.
yeah, in that church. Yeah.
And it's changed, since then. There's been a lot of growth. People are starting to realize that it was tradition and not something that was based on scripture. But it's things like that. Or the order of the way the Lord's Supper happened. We talked about that. That happened to my dad once.
Yeah, I got it out of order once, and so after church, some lady said, "Guys, we need to do communion again because we did it out of order."
We did.
It's not simple. Right.
Yeah, and with the music thing, it's hard to go through 3 or 4 psalms before a harp or something doesn't show up.
That's true.
Right? I know.
That's true.
I know.
Right.
Well, the reality is God gave us all kinds of talents, and some people it is their voice, and that they do their 4-part harmony, and a cappella is beautiful. And some people it's instruments. For some people it's just banging on stuff, like Tracy.
Yes.
Being a drummer.
If you can do it with a rhythm, though.
That's right.
Yeah, I grew up in I went to multiple churches because we moved a lot when I was younger, but middle school and high school I went to a church that, the church itself had been around since the very early 1900s, maybe even the late 1800s, and essentially the same building, same community and everything.
Wow.
And there were people, so this is early 2000s, they stopped doing services in German in the early 1920s. So they used to do services in German.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, so there were people there, they were in their late 80s, early 90s at that point, but they remembered when that happened.
Wow.
And it was a big deal. And then a couple years before we started going there, before I got into middle school, the youth group wanted to bring in acoustic guitars and a drum set and a bass guitar and be able to, and so there was a huge issue with people.
Yes.
And even years later there would be people, and so there was a compromise. We would do, we would start most services with 3 or 4 songs. A couple of them would be a little more contemporary, and a couple of them would be out of the hymn book that's in the back of every single pew, right? And the organ would play, but there would be people that would sit down and not participate at all during the songs where the guitars were playing and stuff. And it's all praise music. It's all, the whole point is just worship. Right? And,
It is.
But people would get so caught up in, well, I've been doing it this way for 60 years. How could something different be right? And it's well, it's, I think it's just good. There's growth. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's right.
And things like that, with us in our time, understanding that people have a hard time with that transition. Imagine the Jews whenever Jesus comes along and just turns everything on its head,
Right.
And with his message, man, that must have been a big change for them, and I think that's probably what a big portion of their issue was with Jesus is you can't take the authority from us,
Right.
sort of thing.
Especially among the Gentiles also,
Right.
and their pagan traditions
Yeah.
that they had. yeah, hey, why don't you quit eating that meat that was sacrificed?
Well, you got to think he was like, I mean, he was turning their whole doctrine on its head too.
Yeah,
so it's not just an issue of going from an organ to an acoustic guitar. I mean, he's looking at them going,
right.
You know, your rules are not nearly as important as the individual and how what's coming out of your mouth and in your hearts. And it just, you know, like when the Pharisees are asking him, you know, well, why aren't they cleaning themselves before they eat and stuff? Because that seems to be so important. And, you know,
that's right.
His response is, it doesn't matter what you consume, or it's what's, you know, what comes out of your body. And it's just, they probably looked at him like he was with such, you know, taste.
To give you, I mean, in that same passage, I'm pretty sure that's in Mark. It's where the writer says, kind of in a parenthetical, and that's when Jesus said everything was clean. So again, it's upending thing. But again, he fulfilled everything through his sacrifice. Exactly right. That's where they're missing it. Is they thought the laws and the rules it would get them to where they needed to be, and it's his sacrifice, his ultimate paying of the penalty.
Yeah, and he didn't, again, he didn't come to abolish the law. The law was good. I mean, there's a lot of good in following God's intent for us, right? And God's rules for us, or if you want to look at it as rules. I look at it a little different. I look at it I get to do these things for God because He loves me so much. So it's not I have to do these things.
Right.
But yeah, Bob, you're right. What they were doing is they were living that double life where they would live not for God but for themselves. But because they were checking the boxes in the law, they thought everything was just going to be okay. Checking the boxes, look at me.
And then the funny thing is, he turns even that on his head, because he's like, and when you go through the Beatitudes in Mark or Matthew 5, 6, and 7, he's like, wait, you say it's this way, but it's really this way, and he's like upping the ante. You know, don't murder. Yeah, sure, the law says don't murder, but I'm telling you, don't call your brother a fool.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you've murdered him that way. So
don't even get close to that.
So don't even think about it. You know, because it does. With the thoughts of sin corrupt the heart.
Right.
It's funny. I'm going to tell a story about my grandmother. Somebody cut her off in traffic when we were little, and she's like, "You buzzard!" That was her favorite thing. Buzzard. You buzzard. And you know, I'm like, "Why didn't you curse at him?" Well, we can't do that. Well, that was your intent. So yeah.
Same feeling, different word.
That's right.
The intent is more important than.
So the old Southern saying, you know, oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You're getting cut off
because you're blessing our heart.
Oh, bless your heart.
But Jesus takes it back down to the literal heart of the matter. What's coming out of your heart is where things are. And then coming back to the passage, that's exactly where Peter and John were. They're like, wait, because I thought this was a really important part that Johnny brought up. Be ready to be interrupted by God. You know, watch for that. And that's if their hearts hadn't been in the right place, they would have just passed them by like everybody else was doing. One, because they had no money, and then two, because that's just what you did. You ignored the poor. Much like we do now, but that's another story. So you know, where's your heart at? And their hearts were in the right place at the right time, and they did an amazing thing through it. So it was, again, a beautiful thing at the gate called beautiful.
Beautiful thing at the gate called beautiful. Tagline.
You know, you talk about the poor. I want to say something about that. My ex, I was talking to her today about my son, but she was telling me, you know, she was homeless for a long time, and she had scraped herself out of alcoholism and drug addiction, and has really gone down a path that's much better. But something she does, she was telling me her schedule, basically, you know, it was part of our discussion, and she's like, yeah, I'm going down to the Samaritan House to cook a little bit, to volunteer down there. And I'm thinking, how amazing is that? And she's doing it, and I'm like, you really do that? And she's like, yeah, they help me out, so I'm helping them out. And I thought, that is amazing. Why am I not down there? That was a gut punch.
Yeah.
So, you know, I see, I was down there not too long ago. Long story, but I don't want to get into that. And I saw a lot of people bringing food and things like that, and it was wonderful that they were doing that. I don't want to dog anything that's happening there, but I think volunteering at those programs is probably a good way. We should do that as a group.
Yeah, I think it'd be
You
great.
want to do that?
I'm fine with it.
Especially around Christmas.
It's on video now.
On video.
But yeah, no, doing that kind of volunteer work is, I mean, that's part of the reason why we did the Justice Run, was that same
Yes.
part for that matter, you know, fighting human trafficking in that case.
Absolutely.
But, fighting poverty on that level is a way of dealing with the problem that creates human trafficking in the first place.
Sure.
You know, so yeah, that's a huge thing. Years ago, I was when Joy and I were over at Metro. I can't remember how it came about, and it never ended up coming to fruition. I was going to go spend 24 hours on the street, and with like 20 cents or something like that. You know, the idea is that if you within the first 20 hours, 20 to 48 hours, something like that, somebody's on the street. One of a couple things are going to happen. They're going to sell themselves out bodily to try and make some money to be able to survive. They're going to do drugs, or they're going to be assaulted. And there was a couple other things that were in that list, but it was just a guaranteed that one of those things was going to happen within the first 48 hours on the street. And it's like, man, that's a really rough statistic.
Yeah, it is.
And so helping out the Samaritan's House or any other kitchen or anything.
Yeah, she was talking about that one specifically, which we're not sponsored by them, but if you want to help sponsor them.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
So that kind of ties into a part of Johnny's message where he was talking about a football game that he is. I think it was a football game he had attended. Basketball game, yes. So he's in the stands and, cheering for his team, and there's people that are really, they're with their faces painted and they're the big crazy fans went out, and it was a big win for him. But the reality is the biggest win of the day was for the people that were on the court doing the job. Yeah. And so, like you can, we show up on Sundays and we're in the stands, we're in the benches, we're cheering it on. But if, the people that are actually out there doing the physical work, giving their time, giving their effort and energy into, trying to spread God's love, do something good for the poor, anything like that, they're the ones that really are making the win happen, That's right. And I thought that was a good analogy for how we should act as individuals, for sure.
There's a good book called Not a Fan by Kyle Idleman. It affirmed my faith a lot because it's that same idea. He uses that exact same concept of being a fan in the stands versus somebody on the field. Honestly, I'd rather be the water boy for Jesus than somebody up in the stands. And me being an associate pastor, that has nothing to do with me being somebody on the field. Not me being here in this discipleship little situation, talking about this, and supporting the Compass and what we do, but also being with my neighbors and doing those kind of things. Yes. That's what puts us out on the field. So a way we can, I was just thinking about this, the way we should be looking at Sundays is not that we're in the stands, but instead we're in the locker room getting the halftime, half talk. So we can get back out on the field and do what we need to do. Yeah. So, I dig that idea. Yeah. Okay. And I don't like sports.
We need to do that. We do community outreach stuff anyway with some of the events, but whenever you think about it, especially somebody like Sherry, who had been down that road, and the people that are coming through the line that she is serving are on that road that she had already been down in many cases, and it's a really great opportunity to put her in a position to minister to them. Imagine if, we were purposely putting ourselves in that exact situation where we could reach out and minister to people. It's tough, we get so comfortable with our routines and the stuff that we do, because we still do stuff, and, so I don't want to like downgrade any of that.
Mhm.
It's just, you know, yeah, that
It's a gut punch.
it is.
There's always
It got my brain. Why, dude? I gotta sleep tonight. Did you get my brain working?
the conviction.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean that's what we were put on this earth to do, is to serve our neighbors while we love God.
You know, that's something that I'm up for a management position, but I told my boss, you know, because he asked that I apply for that. I told him that, you know, my goal is to help create better coworkers and people, you know, better workers and people. And I would be happy to serve. And that was a foreign term a little bit for him to hear in a work environment. But once I explained that to him, you know, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
We need to serve.
Yep. And I'm curious, why should we do that?
Haha.
John 3:16.
Wait, is that J 316 Cam?
Yeah.
Am I just the John 3:16 guy now? Is that
You are. You're now.
Been promoted.
Yeah. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life.
Amen.
And like Morey likes to say, read it, and read it again, and read it again, pray on it, and then decide what you're going to do about it.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
I think it's wonderful. Well, and we see, and back to, you know, the early Acts chapter 3, we see another instance of Peter becoming this mouthpiece for the Lord, and it's really awesome considering through the gospel, like Johnny keeps bringing up, is that he's been, you know, doubting and sort of this almost hindrance at times to Jesus' teachings and everything, and now he is clearly taken a step towards the other, you know, in the other direction, and I think it's because of an understanding of a verse like John 3:16.
Yep.
Absolutely. John, you know, Jesus said, you're going to become a rock.
Yep. Rock star.
You know, we tried to do that with the band, you know, rock band with the kids. You know, our mission statement was we wanted to change hearts and melt faces. Good times.
Wait, hold on a second. So
It was hard rock.
it was
Hard rock.
I was just thinking heart surgery, and then I see all I got is an image of the end of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Well, that's what we did with our
We
music.
did. We melted faces.
Yep, with the arc. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good.
It was fun.
Where are we?
We need to wrap up.
All right.
Cool. So, any last thoughts, gents?
Why are we gonna die right after this? Any final words?
Any wrap up thoughts?
Wrap up. There we go. It's a lot better.
I love you guys, and I love everyone out there. Right? Where are we on that camera? Yeah.
Jake?
Oh, this has been great.
Right. Peace, y'all.
And likewise, but you can always find us at compassdenver.com. We meet on Sundays somewhere in the world, right there at Facebook, but also at Arkansas Elementary at 10 o'clock in the mornings here in Aurora, Colorado. We'd love to see you in person so you can avoid all the technological issues. Especially those of you that do watch us occasionally, or actually more than occasionally, you're out with us regularly. We really would like to see you and meet you and get to know you a lot better.
Absolutely.
Can't do that on Facebook through quick comments and stuff. So love to see you. Hope to have you where you're there. But again, compassdenver.com or Compass Colorado Compass Colorado on Facebook. So thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you
On the next Compass Conversation Podcast.
I swear I said it.